Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. Today we're going to do another Mitsubishi Lancer video. We're going to replace the front door speakers. So we're going to show you how to take the door panels off, remove the stock speakers, and put in some of these new upgraded Kicker DSC 676 and 3/4 inch upgraded door speakers. I'm gonna give that a shot. We've already got a aftermarket stereo in there, and there is no amp at this point, but if we do decide to add an amp, we'll do another video on that. So please subscribe, make sure that you keep updated on all of our videos. So if you're gonna do this upgrade, what is this, a 2010? So we've got a 2010 Mitsubishi Lancer. And what you're going to need for this, obviously, are new speakers. We'll have a link down at the bottom for the description on these. You can get them on Amazon. We're an Amazon affiliate, and that helps us support the channel until we get enough subscribers. So you're going to need one of these sets. They're primarily for removing door panels. There's a bunch of different types of clips and sort of wedges and all sorts of things. They just make the job a lot easier. Other tools you're going to need for this is a wire stripper, some screwdrivers that mostly everybody has. So let's get going. All right, so right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that this video does require some modification to get those Kicker speakers that are listed below into this door panel. And you're going to have a Dremel in order to do this mod. It's a little more work, but you're going to get a little bit probably a little better sound quality out of the whole thing once you're done. Okay, so there's 3 Phillips head screws on this door panel. Here, down here behind this little panel here, pop that out with a flat blade screwdriver. And then there's another one right here, so we're going to remove those 3. Okay, so what he did was he just popped out this little cover here with a flat blade screwdriver, and it just kind of dangles there, and then he got the Phillips head screw out of that spot. Now he's just removing that screw. And he's pulled the tiny little plastic cover off of this one and removed that screw as well. So that's all the screws. And the next thing we work on is popping the door panel off. This is where this trim piece set comes in handy. I'll have a link down in the bottom of the description for that. But this allows you to get in there without damaging. Whereas if you put a screwdriver in there, more than likely you're gonna scratch up your door. So using these plastic trim remover tools is a lot better. So you can kind of pull it back a bit and see down in there where the clips are, and there's one right here at the bottom. And so if you know where they're at, then you can just kind of pop them off, and sometimes they'll actually break. So don't freak out about it. You can get new pins, but you can kind of see in there where they kind of pop out right here, and if they stay intact, you're good. If not, you might have to replace a couple. I'll have a link down at the bottom if you need replacement pins as well. And then once you get it going, then you can just kind of pop the rest of the bottom of the door off, and then you got it loose here like that. Okay, so this little tweeter, you may or may not have this depending on your model or trim level, I guess, but this car has the upgraded separate tweeter, so you just kind of pull that off to the side there. So this just pops off as well. Now on the other side, we already did the other side, but these little pins can break, and if they do, don't panic. You can put them back in there and then pop the door back on. Now if this part breaks off, then of course you're going to have to get some new ones, and I'll put a link down there for replacements. They're not white, but they are the same. So if you're doing a lot of car stuff, you're an enthusiast or whatever, it's good to have the door removal, the door trim pieces, and also these replacement retainers is what they call them. But these are good for trim, like in the trunk, under the hood, your grill, and also doors. You can see there's a ton of them, and there'll be a link down below. All right, so I'm not going to pop these door handle cables off just because they're kind of a pain, and if you break them, then you don't have the parts to put them back on. So I'm just going to take the clips off here, and there's just a tab here that you push down and pull off, and then this one's got a tab as well right there. Comes off real easy, and then you can just set this kind of to the side. So this has got a little retainer clip. The wire just pulls right out, and then you've got another little clip right here. You can push that in and then pull this out. And then when you put your new speakers in, obviously you're going to have to cut these off and then put new connectors on. But the next phase is just to rotate the stock speaker just to the left, and then it pops right off. You can see these are a 15 watt 4 ohm. That's the standard bass speaker that comes with the car, and 15 watts is not a lot. These advertise 240 watts peak, but they're really only 60 watt speakers, but that's a huge jump from 15 watts. So in theory, this speaker upgrade should be a little better, but you still need an amp to push something that can go that high. So anyway, that's what the stock speaker looks like. Just need to make more room for the bigger magnet on the kicker. Get rid of these tabs. Okay, so we've pretty much just cut in these edges here, and we can just pop the speaker out that way. And it's probably glued into the frame, so it's going to destroy the speaker, just so you know. So before you do this whole procedure, make sure you know this speaker is going to go away, but it's just a cheap paper cone 15 watt speaker, so we don't really care. Anything we do is going to be an upgrade, but you just push it like this, and then you can retain this clip, but you're going to have to cut it out, and I don't think it's worth it for us. I'd rather just put new connectors on there and put it on the speaker. So we're not worried about these little wires remaining intact, but as we push it out, you can kind of see it's going to destroy it. So you just kind of have to go for it. And it's ugly. Okay, so we've done a little test fit. Now this is a 6 3/4 inch speaker, so it's a little bit bigger than your 6 1/2, which some people opt for. But it does sit right on top of this, exactly the same width. Now, if you wanted to go with a speaker that goes down inside here, and you wanted to bother with peeling all this off and have it sit right in there, you can do that. But your screws may not dig into this lip right here, so we've opted to go this route. And what I'm going to do is remove the foam carefully, because my plan is to reuse the foam on the outside part here so that the door frame will actually seal up against the speaker itself. So I just want to show you why we have to do this modification. You have another option too. You can cut out this hole with a Dremel or something a little bit wider to fit the speaker. But here, when we put this in, you can see that it's offset. So it sticks out a little bit because this is too wide for that hole. And that's why we're reusing the original attachment piece. So we're just gonna mount this 6 3/4 speaker, which is exactly the same diameter, in here, and that'll allow us to use that same space. And it will also butt up against that opening as well. There's just one last little bit of modification I'm going to do, and that is cutting this little piece out right here so that we can get the wires on there. I wanted this speaker mounted exactly like the old one was, just for uniformity, and also that there's the clips up here that run from the top. We'll just run our wires down in there and connect here. So we'll just Dremel this out here and here. So here's another little tip that's going to make your life easier for mounting this speaker into this mount. You'll notice that on this mount you've got some solid pieces here, and then there's some really big deep openings that you're not going to be able to get a bite with your screw on. But you can see these solid pieces, braces I guess, that are lined up behind here. And if you mark them with whatever you've got that's fairly bright, then you'll know where to pre-drill your screw heads. I'm just using a piece of tire chalk or sidewalk chalk, whatever you want to call it. At least that way you know where to line up your screw. And set the speaker on. Remember where you're going to put your wires. Probably at the top is my choice, but so now you can see where the holes line up with the solid areas. That'll make your life a lot easier for securing the speaker onto the mount. So we had to kind of move this thing around a little bit to line up the holes with the areas that I marked so you can get a screw in there. And you might have to tweak it just a little bit. What I found was I had to come right about 1/4 inch, but putting the screwdriver in there, you can see that we've got a good bite on that one. Here it drops all the way down. There's a good bite there, here, and right here. So now I'm just going to drill some small 1/8 inch roughly pilot holes, because you don't want to slip. If you drill the pilot holes, your screw's going to go in there without slipping off and hitting your cone or something on your new speakers. So pre-drill. That way everything's going to go a lot smoother. There we go. So I also believe that using this mount is going to reduce the amount of rattle you get on that door. If you Dremel out and then screw the speaker directly to the door, it probably won't rattle, but it all kind of depends on how flush and smooth it is, and it really didn't look like a very flush and smooth surface to me. So I think this is, to me, this is the better option. And we're just going to set our screws in now carefully. I'm not going to get them tightened down all the way yet. I just want to get them started, and then we'll, just like a tire or wheel, we're going to finish screwing stuff down after we get them all started. And that one I want to make sure I don't hit the wiring or anything. Should be good. So here we've got our screws all securely holding the speaker in, and room on the back for the wires to go through. These speakers came with this little nice pigtail, so we can just hook those up, and then we will cut these, strip these, and then hook them up there. And I believe, I could be wrong, so we want to verify it. Look in the comments section to see verification of which one's positive and negative. But I'm guessing that the yellow one is positive. So before you go hook everything up, check the comment section down below, make sure that we verified that. So one of the most common mistakes people make on wiring stuff up with these connectors is either going in too far or not going in far enough, and not crimping properly. So you kind of want to do a little test fit like that with your fingernail, and then only run it in as far as your fingernail goes, and then do the crimp. I usually hit it twice, because some of these, the metal doesn't go all the way out here, it comes in here. So if you crimp out there, you're only getting plastic. So you want to come in here and hit it again. And like I said, before you do your project, make sure you check to see what you think's positive and negative in the comments here. We couldn't find a definitive answer with diagrams on the internet, so we're kind of rolling the dice here, but we're going to hook them all up the same. That way they're in phase. Okay. All right, so there's foam on the back of this. You can run the wire back through the door and into the back of the speaker. That's the right way to do it, but since I already had one crimped, there's enough foam on here that it's not going to be a problem. But I push it in and then just turn it clockwise until it's latched, and there you go. We've got it set up. And before you put the door panel back on, make sure you test the sound and everything. All right, so it's in there. We just got to put everything back together the opposite way we took it off. And like I said, you really want an amp to run stuff like this, but this is a slight upgrade for now, and I'd rather have all the speakers done, and then we can later on throw an amp on the back somewhere on the back of that stereo. So please subscribe, give it a like, thumbs up if you want, and we'll have some more Mitsubishi videos. Say that one fast 3 times. Thanks for watching.